Hello, everyone. It's your boy, Professor Patio, and today we are going to talk about percents of numbers. That percents are everywhere. They're in taxes, percents are in discounts, and percents are in tips. In fact, anytime we talk about a part of a whole, percents are there. And when we talk about parts of wholes, they're in fractions, they're in decimals, and they're especially in percents. And percents are what we are going to focus on today. This video is to know how to find percents of numbers using what we call a percent ruler. We'll talk about more so that you understand that part. But we're going to find percents of numbers using a diagram called a percent ruler. Now, let's pretend this purple bar right here is one whole, or 100%. So we're going to call that a 100% bar. This is a 100% bar. Just like in a cell phone, when you check your battery and it's full, this is also a 100% bar, and we say it's 100% full. But if you have a battery like this, oh my gosh, it's 31%, and you're going to need to charge it in a few hours or so. Okay. Now, we're going to do something with this 100% bar. What if we took this 100% bar and we start cutting the bar into pieces like this? So here's my 100% bar, and I'm going to start cutting it like this. Cuts right here. We're going to cut it like this. Okay. And now we have a question for you all. How much is each piece worth? Okay, so what if I told you that each question mark represents a percent? So this question mark is a percent. This is a percent. This question mark's a percent. So how many percent does each smaller piece represent? Let's pause right here to think about that. How much is each question mark worth in terms of percent? How many percent? Well, if you take the 100% and chop it off into 10 parts, you might be thinking each piece is 10%. Some of you might be thinking 100% divided by 10 pieces equals 10% for each piece. And so we would say each smaller bar represents 10%. So I just mentioned division, but you might have been thinking multiplication. You also might have been thinking addition or subtraction, and each of those is perfectly okay. Look at number 2. Number 2 says, how do we represent 30% on this percent ruler? Let's do this by shading 30%. Any ideas on how we should do this? Well, if we remember what we did in the last part, we learned that each of these tiny pieces is 10%. Okay, so all we have to do is do this, and we have 10%, this is 20%, and all of these three together is 30%. Okay, so then we would go ahead and shade this part. And what we could do is, if you have a pencil, you can just slightly shade it like this. Okay. Now, another way to think about this is to think about this line right here being 0%. And then if you go this far, you'll have reached 10%. And then if you go this far, you'll have made it to 20%. And then if you go this far, you'll have made it to 30%. So those are two ways to think of 30%. Think of the 10% here. That's one way to think of 30%. Or if you start from 0 and you keep on moving, that is another way to think of 30%. This part is really exciting because now we're relating this math to shopping. Okay, so number 3 says, let's go shopping. How do we represent 80% off? And they're giving us a hint. They're saying, let's do this by crossing off 80% from the right. And notice that I'm underlining what we need to do. because sometimes word problems has a lot of words, and it helps if we underline what we need to do. So we know that we need to cross out 80% from the right, and we're trying to represent 80% off. Well, if we remember what we did, we learned that each of these parts, each of these tiny pieces here are 10%. So if I want to cross out 80% from the right, well, I'll cross out this part right here, that's 10%. If I do this, that's 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%. So this is how we represent 80% off. Okay, so this is 80% off. By the way, the interesting thing about this part right here, which I'll mark in blue, is what does this 20% mean? I'll pause right here. I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. If this is 80% off, what does this 20% mean in real life? Well, it means that we are going to pay 20%. So, if you ever see a sign in the store and it says 80% off, you're actually only paying 20%. To a real problem with money in it and percents, okay? So let me go ahead and read the problem first. 5A says Yandel and Joel want to buy a new game for $50, and I'm going to circle that because that's important information, okay? Oh, but here's our percent ruler, and it's already been marked for us from 0% to 100%. They already did the work for us there, okay? But if we go to 5B, it says, how much is each 10% worth? So why don't you go ahead and underline that question, because we need to figure out how much is 10%. So they're asking this, how much money is this? This piece right here, how much money is that? That's like a question mark right there. Okay, how much is that, and how do we figure it out? All right, let me go ahead and move a few things here. Let me erase that, okay? But we need to figure this out. How much is this? How much money in dollars, okay? And they want us to show our thinking, and we're going to write those numbers above here. So we're going to put the numbers right here, okay? So how can we figure that out? Well, what we know is if Yandel and Joel paid 100%, if they pay 100% of the game, how much are they going to pay? If they pay all of the game, how much are they paying? I'll give you a few seconds. They're going to pay $50, okay? You pay for the whole game. If you pay for 100% of the game, they're going to pay $50, okay? And so, wait, didn't we just say that 100% is 50? Well, so in other words, another way to think about this is this whole bar is $50. This whole bar is $50. Okay? So now, wait, what's happening with the whole bar? Look at the lines. They've cut the bar, this whole $50 bar, this whole 100% bar into 10 parts. Okay? So what kind of math can we do to figure this part out if this whole thing is 50? Let me pause for a few seconds, and can you think of the math we need to do to figure this piece out? So we need to do something with $50 here. What kind of math can we do? Well, we said the whole bar is 50 and it's cut into 10 parts. Anytime we're thinking about cutting, that's division. Okay, so that's dividing. And it's cut into 10 pieces. And so what you're going to find out is how many 10s go into 50? Well, it's 5. Okay, so each small piece is $5. That means that over here, and let me just highlight this, let me just circle this in red. Okay, that means each piece is $5. Okay, so this piece is $5. Sorry, this piece is $5. This piece is $5. And every piece right here is worth $5. And let me say this in a different way. after I finish writing this down. Let me say this in a different way. Each 10% is $5. This 10% is $5. $5. $5. Each of these 10% pieces is the same thing as $5. Okay? 10% is worth $5. All right? So that's what you would write. There's a blank in your worksheet that says each 10% is worth $5. So go ahead and write that down. This is Professor Patio. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Take care, everybody. You're awesome.